Well, hey, everybody, it's me, Jermaine, and I'm back with another Simple Truth news update. And, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't believe that there is something in the works behind the scenes, that the U.S. military, the powers that control and dictate what the U.S. military does, i.e., the federal government, if you do not believe that there is something happening behind the scenes that they are making preparations for, and I want to share, and I want to say, the U.S. military does nothing of their own volition. They are given a directive and they are given orders by the commander in chief. Do your homework, do your due diligence. That should be very simple for most people to understand. Again, the simple truth. But I came across an article just today on prisonplanet.com, and it says U.S. troops to get new headgear for Homeland Security operations. The U.S. Army is planning to develop new protective headgear for soldiers that will shield them from ballistic munitions, small arms ammunition, and blunt trauma as part of missions that will include homeland operations. A solicitation on behalf of the Army Contracting Command asked for potential vendors to present proposals for the development and production of new headgear as part of the Soldier Protection System, SPS. This head protection ensemble is planned to replace the current helmet system. The SPS will provide the soldier multiple levels of ballistic protection that can be tailored to select mission profiles and protection against specific threats from conventional fragmenting munitions, small arms munition, and blunt impact. Soldiers equipped with the SPS will be able to accomplish a broad range of missions. The SPS will protect soldiers involved in major combat operations, stability operations, homeland security operations, joint operating concepts, and the joint force functional concept, states the solicitation. Developers are asked to present white papers featuring details of the helmet systems by no later than September the 4th. Again, remember I told you, ladies and gentlemen, something is being planned. The fact that U.S. troops are getting new headgear to protect them from gunfire during Homeland Security operations will once again stroke fears that the government is preparing for violent civil unrest on U.S. soil. Using the Army to conduct domestic operations is illegal under the Posse Comitatus, except under extreme circumstances. Section 1385 of the Posse Comitatus Act states, whoever, except in cases and under circumstances expressly authorized by the Constitution or Act of Congress, willfully uses any part of the Army or the Air Force as a posse comitatus or otherwise to execute the laws shall be fined under the title or imprisoned not more than 2 years or both. Over the last few years, the transition of U.S. troops from overseas operations to an occupying homeland force has accelerated, precisely in line with Chief of Staff of the U.S. Army, General Raymond T. Odierno's recent call for the U.S. Army to be reorientated around carrying out domestic law enforcement operations. Now, I want to pause right here in this article and wonder, Why would the U.S. military need to do something that state and local law enforcement are already doing? That's a very important question that we have to ask ourselves. Back in 2008, the Washington Post reported how 20,000 U.S. troops returning from Iraq would be stationed inside America under NORTHCOM for purposes of domestic security from September 2011 onward. NORTHCOM officials were forced to subsequently issue a denial after the Army Times initially reported that the troops would be used to deal with civil unrest and crowd control. So it seems once the truth actually came out, then it had to be retracted because, again, they do not want the sheeple, the people who follow blindly, to know what is actually coming down the pipe. They'd rather have them dumbed down, demoralized, and destitute to believe whatever they say. The U.S. Army recently signed a contract with A2Z Supply Corporation to supply riot shields, face shields, batons, and body protection, increasing concerns that troops are going to play a key role in policing Americans domestically. The Department of Homeland Security is also making preparations for domestic disorder with its recent order of riot gear. Questions have also been asked about why the DHS is purchasing over 1 billion rounds of ammunition, enough to wage a 7-year ground war. Fears that the U.S. Army is being ready to take on disgruntled Americans in the aftermath of major economic collapse are being stroked by clear preparations based around the very premise. A recent academic study written by retired Army Colonel Kevin Benson depicts a shocking scenario in which the U.S. Army is used to restore order to a town that has been seized by Tea Party insurrectionists in 2016 following a Great Recession. 2016? And they're saying a Great Recession? Aren't we currently in a Great Recession and have been since 2008? The paper emphasizes how the U.S. Army's operating concept, 2016 to 2028, dictates that the military's full spectrum operations will include operations within American borders. As InfoWars recently reported, a newly leaked U.S. Army military police training manual for civil disturbance operations outlines how military assets are to be used domestically to quell riots, confiscate firearms, and even kill Americans on U.S. soil during mass civil unrest. Now, in one of the last Simple Truth updates, I reported about this same situation from InfoWars about the military, U.S. Army police training manual. We talked about that. Let's move on. A 2008 report produced by the U.S. Army War College Statistic Institute warned that the United States may experience massive civil unrest in the wake of a series of crises, which it termed strategic shock. Widespread civil violence inside the United States would force the defense establishment to reorient priorities in extremis to defend basic domestic order and human security, stated the report, authorized by retired Lieutenant Colonel Nathan Fearer, F-R-E-I-R, may have said it wrong, adding that the military may be needed to quell purposeful domestic resistance. Ladies and gentlemen, the simple truth of it is that many people are not even aware of such things. Some people are aware of such things, but yet tend to excuse it away, find every reason why it is not exactly what is being stated. They want the belief that, oh, The military would never do anything against people of its own country. That's the simple truth of it, ladies and gentlemen, is that just some people are blind and blind to the facts that are right in front of them. They don't want to pay attention. They want to keep their heads buried in the sand. They want to do whatever is necessary to keep them occupied so they do not have to consider such possibilities. But by not considering the possibilities, you are bound and determined to get caught up in whatever happens. This has been the simple truth. And as I always tell you, the simple things are oftentimes the most profound, but yet they're the most difficult to put into action and to actually do. I want to thank you for joining me, and I'll see you again real soon.